What is up, Scorpio? My name is Camille, and this is going to be your August 2018 reading here on Millennial Tarot. I'm going to give a quick plug for my summer reading special, end of summer reading special, really. I'm going to be doing $5 readings up until the end of August, so if you have a question, a burning desire, something that has been gnawing at you that you would like clarity and or guidance on for $5, please do hit me up. If this reading resonates or does not resonate, that's more of an invitation to hit me up for your specific situation. So I'm going to go within and see what the energies are here for you this August. I'm going to move them around a little bit, get some juju, get some magic flowing. All right. Okay, so the theme for you, Scorpio, is slow down, slow down, slow down. So we pulled in the recent past, the energy setting off this reading, King of Wands. Then we have the present month, the Hanged Man, which was something else, which was the same thing for another card. So a lot of slowing down at the end of the summer. And then we have Page of Pentacles ending off the reading. So whatever you've been trying to doggedly go after, especially on the heels of our reading last month, where like the world was your oyster, I believe. Now is the time to really slow down and reflect. Are you going in the right direction? Do you actually want this? Is this something that someone wants for you? Is this an idea that you think you want? Is it a direction that you truly want to go in? And if it is it something that's going to give you long-term growth, long-term results? Are you doing it for the quick, instant gratification? Are you doing it for something deeper, fuller, and more substantial? So we have here the story of the King of Wands, which is someone who is so proactively focused on not one thing, but on something. Usually for most people, it's one or two things. So the King of Wands represents fast motion. He's the fastest moving king. He represents mobility. He represents courageousness, boldness, going after something and not letting anyone get in your way. Now, in some instances, this is an energy that people really, really do need, especially people who are insecure or people who have not been taking action. But because it's paired up with the Hanged Man and the energy of the Pentacles, which is slow and grounding, it really occurs for me to tell you that you need to slow down. And either way, August will slow down things for you. So it's okay to go after things, it's okay to be aggressive, it's okay to really want, but not when it's at the detriment to our souls, or not when we are so focused on something that we don't look around at anything else and we miss things that are happening, or when we are so rigid about how we want it to be, how it has to turn out. It has to be this way. I'm not going to stop until it's this way. And then we completely end up, waking up 2 months down the line and we're like, oh, I should have heeded that detour. I should have listened to that road sign that said slow down. So August is really about slowing down. It's not about giving up on your passions. To slow down does not mean we're stopping, that we're giving up, or that we're going backwards. It's okay to pause. It's okay to rest. It is not a reflection of your character if you stop trying after something, that you're not ambitious, that you're not going after your goals. This is an American Western society thing that we always have to be so assertive and ego-driven to go after what we want at the expense of everyone and everything else. Those things are good, but in moderation. So August is coming in to kind of slow you down so you can have a reflection process, which is then manifested here with the Hanged Man card. And the Hanged Man is I always say everything's the perfect, but the Hanged Man is an interesting, counterpart to the King of Wands. King of Wands is so focused on this one thing. All of his energy is on this one thing, maybe two things, but to say he has his eggs in all one basket, whatever that basket represents to you. And then the Hanged Man is a more fluid energy, because the Hanged Man flips head to the ground, feet to the sky, as if to say, could I see this differently? Could I be doing this differently? Do I even want this? Which I was querying you in the beginning. Do you want this? Or how can you go about it differently? Or how can you go about it a little bit more wisely? Now, the King of Wands is action for the sake of action, at least as he's showing up in this reading. So we have this common thing where if I'm doing something, then that means progress. But I think you'd rather take mindful steps and just be stepping all over the place. So it's really about a concentration of energy in a direction like the King of Wands, but doing it more mindfully like the Hanged Man. Now the Hanged Man is more wise for having pondered something, for having paused. So whatever you need to press pause on, or whatever is not showing up for you quickly enough, really use this time to think about what it is that you want. An example that I use a lot for these readings, because this is a issue that people find paramount to life, is relationships. So there could be some Scorpios who are focused on dating, focused on that aspect of your life to the detriment of other things. Not to say that you're ignoring them, but you could be tending to other things, not only the dating, right? And so we tend to have this thing where things aren't happening quick enough, which is a King of Wands thing. I want it now. Then we assume that we are a failure, or we assume that it's never going to happen, or we assume all these crazy things. And the Hanged Man is coming to say, hey, while you're in this pause, let's say if it's for dating, for instance, why don't you get clear on what you want? Why don't you get clear on who that person is for you? Why don't you get clear on what you're bringing to the table? If it's a job or direction you really, really want to go in, why don't you get clear on why? Why do you want to go that way? Why don't you get clear? Why is that your goal? Are you doing it with the right people? All these questions that you could be asking yourself. This is really a month of taking a step back to pause and see if you really want to go in that direction. And I do get, for most Scorpios, you are coming to that answer, you are coming to that conclusion, and you are coming to that clarity. So you can marry your action with clarity of thought. And then we have it producing something that's going to be extremely long-term and awesome. So it's like the King of Wands was doing. The Hanged Man is kind of stopping, and then a lot of Scorpios are like, well, I don't want to give up. I don't want to stop. I want this thing as soon as possible. Well, the Page of Pentacles is coming in to give you a little whisper, a little message, because pages are messengers, that there is something over the horizon that is going to be great, substantial, and that is going to provide you with long-term lusciousness. So if this is a relationship, this is a long-term thing. This is a soul partnership. This is not a fling. If this is a job, this is not part-time. This is not temp. This is not, I'm going to work in an industry that's not adjacent, or work in an industry that's not my dream. This is like, no, it's going to come slowly. It's going to come through effort, but you're going to do it, and it's going to be in a direction that you want. So provides you long-term security and long-term growth. And we always want to grow long-term with things that are good. If this is a financial thing of you really trying to save money, I'm selling this, I'm selling that, I'm going to go to that seminar, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, that's really the King of Wands. So you spend most of June and July on the go, going here, going there. And August is inviting you to step back and rest and evaluate or reevaluate why you're going in this direction. Not to say that it's a bad direction, not to say that it's going to be messed up if you keep going, not to say, that you need to make a U-turn, all these things, but really to just get clear, because when we make mindful steps, then we get things that are way more our frequency, that we like much more. And to use the example of dating again, if we're just going to date for the sake of dating, and then we wonder why we're not meeting the right people, well, why don't you mindfully date, or do it slower, do it more purposefully? That is the lesson of the Hanged Man with the King of Wands. And then we have the Page of Pentacles to say, once you heed this call to go within, to pause, to just stop for a second, reevaluate. The Hanged Man sees things from different perspectives, so this is also a chance for you to go about something differently, to be flexible in how you're doing something, to entertain a little bit more mutable energy, because you're fixed. Scorpio, you're fixed, and you really want this one thing, and you're just going to do it, and you're like, I don't care what that says, I don't care whatever. The Hanged Man is a flipped perspective. It's a more flexible outlook. And when you kind of allow for that play, that Play-Doh, that elasticity in your life, that is when you get the thing. And this is the very beginning of the thing. It's the very beginning of the job. It's the job offer coming through. It's the promotion coming through. It's the new car coming through. It's the boyfriend. It's the girlfriend. It's the husband. It's the partnership. It's the sex. It's the whatever, it's coming through, but it's going to come through faster, clearer, it's going to come through at a higher frequency, and it's going to come through better when you do take time this month to pause and to reflect. Why do you want this? Also, some Scorpios are tired. Maybe you need to take the month of August off. You need to take the month of August off to tend to yourself, all the things that you've been ignoring because you've been going after this one thing, these are things in August that you can then pay attention to. You can then grow. You can then spread a little bit of your energy on all these things so that you aren't so confined to this one thing and aren't feeling so stuck because of this one thing. So really play with distractions, pleasant distractions. If you're so focused on the job and you just can't do anything but think about how I'm going to do this about the job, entertain a different thing to think about. That's also the Hanged Man. You think differently about the same about one thing, but you can also think differently and just do something else. So if you're so concerted in this one area to the detriment of other areas, you could find your peace and you could find your space coming in when you then entertain other things to do, just literally other things. Like if you've been going in this direction and you're focusing on the job, why don't you do a hard left and focus on like your pet or vacuum your carpet, just things. And then things will start to coalesce in the background because you aren't paying attention to them. One of my favorite things is the body heals when you're not looking at it. And it has to do with health, but it also has to do with a lot of things. So if you have an ache and a pain, and you're like, when is this going to go away? When is this going to go away? It kind of lingers, right? So when you're like, when am I going to get this? When am I going to get that? When is this going to go away? When is this going to come? It kind of doesn't. It doesn't have any like room to move. So really entertain that when you stop focusing on it, if stuff heals when you don't pay attention to it, entertain that if you start scattering your energy onto many things, that is when that one thing that you were so fixed about, that you so wanted, starts to blossom. So that has been my lesson and my teaching and my reading for you, Scorpio, is to not be so fixed on this one thing so that you just feel so stuck and cramped. Really entertain a different way of doing it. Ask yourself why you're doing it and make sure you take time to rest. Some of you may be tired anyway. The bottom of the deck for you, it's occurring to me to show this more and more, is what? The Queen of Wands. Go, 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 yin yang, just all of your energies into this one thing, because she is the wife. She's the queen of the king. So really take the time to slow down and know that when you slow down is when you grow down. When you slow is when you grow. When you stop is when you, I can't find a rhyme, but when you stop doing the thing, when you just lay off it for just a little bit, you'll be surprised about how much progress you can make just by stopping and pausing. All right? So this has been my August reading for you. Of course, if you need more clarity for your specific situation, I hope you do reach out for me for just $5. Until then, I will see you in September, and I hope that this video finds you well. Bye, Scorpio.